Hello and welcome back, small business owners, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast. My name is Mike Jesowshek. I'm a CPA and founder of a digital modern day accounting firm called JETRO, focusing on small business owners exclusively. And this week, I want to talk to you about extensions. We are now just a few weeks away from the tax deadline, so this is something that comes up quite a bit around not just our clients, but business owners and individuals alike. And now, before I get too further into this, extensions for partnerships, multi-member LLCs, or S corporations had to be filed already back on March 15th. So if you didn't file for an extension back then or didn't file your return back then, talk to your taxpayer right away. The extended due date for these returns is September 15th. Now, extensions for your personal returns, which include single member LLCs, as well as C corporations, must be filed by April 15th. Your extended due date for those returns is then October 15th, and this is when you have to actually file your return by. However, remember last week that we mentioned that when you're filing an extension, it does not extend the time you have to pay your taxes. It just extends the time you have to file them. So if you believe that you will have a tax amount due, be sure to include an estimated amount with your extension so that you do not get hit with any interest or penalties. If you end up overpaying on your estimate, you're simply going to get that amount back in a refund when you eventually file your return down the road. Now, when we talk extensions, you might hear from friends or the internet that filing an extension is a bad thing. And I'm here to tell you that it is definitely not a bad thing. In fact, sometimes it's actually a good thing. Studies actually show that by extending, it may reduce your risk of an audit. Now, whether that is true or not, I'm not sure. But one thing I do know is that it will not hurt you in any way, unless, of course, you have interest or penalties on any amount due that was paid after that initial deadline. Extending also gives you time to ensure that you have all your files properly prepared, which often leads to a more clean and more accurate tax return. So this can be for business owners if you have bookkeeping that needs to be completed. This gives you more time to get that done, which again can also lead to a more accurate return where you're not rushing things at a deadline. So in conclusion, don't stress about extensions. It happens all the time, and oftentimes it's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. It's oftentimes a good thing. Multi-member LLCs, partnerships, and S corporation extensions are due by March 15th, giving you an extended deadline out to September 15th. Personal returns, including single member LLCs and sole proprietors, along with C corporation extensions, are due on April 15th, giving you an extended deadline out to October 15th. Be sure to include an estimated amount due with your extension so that you can avoid any additional penalties. Finally, whatever you do, make sure you do not miss that final deadline. So that final September 15th or October 15th deadline, make sure you do not miss that. Because if you do not have your return filed by that final deadline, that is where fees and penalties really start to add up. So that's what I have today for extensions. If you have any questions on this, reach out. Again, extensions, nothing to be worried about. It's better to file an extension with a payment due than to file a rushed return that you might have to end up amending down the road. And as we continue to get closer to the end of tax season, I'm going to touch on more topics every week for you and your business so that you can just be better prepared tax-wise. All right, so I want to let listeners know that we are hosting an Accounting and Tax Secrets webinar on April 2nd. On this webinar, we're going to be sharing tax strategies that save small business owners thousands each and every year. We are also going to be talking about the top 3 tips that will bulletproof your business from an IRS audit. And finally, we will discuss how to develop a bookkeeping system to facilitate financial success. This webinar will be on April 2nd at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and you can sign up at webinar.taxsavingspodcast.com. If you're unable to make that time, sign up anyways, because I will send you a recording of that webinar so you can still see it if you're interested in the information. Again, it's webinar.taxsavingspodcast.com. I want to remind you also, again, that we have launched a website for the podcast. This is a great source to go back and check our most recent episodes, but also find some of the extra items that you can really take what we discuss here on the podcast and dive much deeper. Some of the extras that we have include a link to our Facebook group, information on our free bookkeeping, payroll, and tax strategy training program, and a free 15-minute consultation. So you can find our new podcast website at www.taxsavingspodcast.com. I want to say thank you for tuning in to another week's episode, and we're going to continue again to touch on these important items in the coming weeks. So to continue this discussion, feel free to join our free Facebook group. We share a ton of information in there that other people are charging thousands for. So it's a free group. Just simply search in Facebook, Small Business Tax Secrets, and it'll be a group that pops up. 3 questions that you have to answer, and then you can join. I look forward to seeing you in there and continuing the discussion and diving deeper on some of the topics that we talk about on the podcast. If you enjoy our weekly episodes, I just ask that you please leave a review on whatever platform you may listen to us on and share with other business owners. Our goal is to help business owners not be so blind about their finances and tax and really understand the strategies that are available to them out there. They don't have to be experts, but being aware of it makes them a lot easier and gives them a lot more ammo when they're looking to save money, save taxes, and reduce costs. If there's any specific topic that you want us to touch on, shoot me an email, go to our website, submit a contact form, hit me up wherever you might find me, and let me know, and I'll focus a future episode on that specific item that you're looking for. Again, thank you for tuning in to another episode, and I will see you next week.